In this video, I'm gonna be going over top 5 worst weapons in Resident Evil 4 Remake. Rules are gonna be no bonus weapons. It'll be my personal opinion. So if there's a weapon that is on the list that you like, unfortunately that is my opinion. And I'm gonna be just like the last time. I'm gonna be judging based on the stats, usage, as well as how good it is on professional, normal. Hope you enjoy this video and let's get started. Starting up with number 5, I'll have to give it to Broken Butterfly. Well, the Broken Butterfly might be a controversial pick because there are some people that love the Broken Butterfly. Don't get me wrong, it's got a really good damage. In fact, it has the highest damage along with Magnums. But what makes this a number 5 is simply the crosshair, which is the only thing that lacks it down. And what makes the crosshair on the Broken Butterfly so bad is that there's a good chance that you're going to miss a shot, and because of how little the Magnum ammos are in the game and how often you find them and craft them, is that this will make a pretty difficult when it comes to like professional runs, because you cannot waste any Magnum rounds. And sometimes there are scenarios when if you try to kill some boss like the chainsaw boss or any boss that can one hit, if you miss a shot, there's a good chance you will die instantly, which can make it extremely annoying, especially if you're going for professional runs. But overall, I will say the damage is really good. Like, it's not the worst weapon. It's just a very stingy weapon to use, especially when it comes to even just on normal run. It could still be very nerve-wracking unless you use cat ears, which will give you infinite ammo. So here's Broken Butterfly in number 5. Number 4, the Striker. Now, out of all the weapons, the worst weapons in the list, this one is probably the most fun weapon I use, and also probably the most disappointing weapon that due to going massive nerf. In the original, you can have 100 capacity of bullets if you get exclusive upgrade, and the damage was the highest. And a bonus tip with the original Striker is that you can do the Dipman glitch. However, in the remake, they nerfed that, which wasn't too bad, which was more reasonable due to how broken it is to use. However, what made this Striker really bad is not only they nerfed the amount of capacity of bullets or shells, it also nerfed the damage. You can see in the clip that no matter how strong it is, even with fully upgrade and including exclusive upgrade, for some reason the Striker sometimes will 1 to 2 shot enemy, and sometimes it will take 6 shots, which can be extremely annoying. And the spread is also very wide, so the chance of like one-shotting an enemy is very low. The only good thing about the Striker is that if you have the cat ears or have a lot of shotgun ammo, this weapon can be extremely powerful and really good of like crowd controls and clearing the area with no problem. Overall, this weapon is probably one of the worst shotgun on the list. Even the W870 shotgun is somehow better than the Striker with full upgrade. So I put Striker on the number 4. Coming on number 3, I will give it to the TMP. Similar to the Striker, it got a nerf, even though the TMP is also one of the worst weapons in the original. However, I will argue that the original TMP was way better than the one we got in the remake. What made this TMP worse is not only this has the lowest damage, it also, even with full upgrade, it's still one of the worst weapons. It has 70 shots with full upgrade, whereas the original has 250 shots. And to top it off, like the Magnums and shotgun, you don't get many bullets in playthrough, so when it comes to using TMP, it's gonna be very difficult to use it, especially when you run out of ammo very quickly. And to top it off, you also have a massive wide spread, which can be extremely dangerous to use, especially on professional run. And if you're not careful, there's a good chance you might miss a shot, or 2, you might hit actually on the run. Even with the stock, it's still not worth it to use. Yes, the MP5 can be decent weapon. Like I would say the MP5 is a lot more better than the TMP because of the smaller spread. At least in like separate ways, it is also pretty decent at knocking enemies if you're shooting at them correctly, especially in professional runs. If you're not going to use the shotgun, the TMP will be more for just to knock enemies away so you get a critical hits. Overall, I'll put the TMP in number 3. Number 2, I will have to put the Punisher. And the reason I put the Punisher on number 2 is simply, out of all the pistols, the Punisher is probably the least used pistol. Yes, you might argue the Matilda and the Red 9 might be the least used. However, the Matilda with the cat ears, you can kill any boss with any enemies out of your way with no problem. The Red 9, even though it's probably the worst, it's probably the worst pistol in the game, it also does have a good damage. And if you add a red stock, it's pretty good. But when it comes to the Punisher, the only good thing about the Punisher is that you can shoot through any shield enemies except the soldiers with shield. However, although you can penetrate 5 enemies with no problem, you could do the same thing with a sniper rifle. Heck, I don't know why you need a penetration power with a pistol, so that pistols are not made to be penetration power, and even the SG09 or known as the Silver Ghost pistol is still somehow better than the Punisher, and that also comes with a laser sight. And the reason I put it on number 2 is that although it's really bad against like all other pistols, at least it can kill an enemy. At least it's easy to use, and although it's got a pretty decent fire rate, so I guess the penetration power, especially when it comes to the Zelos with the shield, it's really decent against, as well as the Novus does. Overall, I'll put the Punisher at number 2. And number 1, out of all the weapons I would pick against on the worst list, it's easily the bow thrower. And where do I start this weapon? When I first use it, I thought that if you get a headshot, consider they requires knives to craft them, I thought that they were one shot in the head. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And to make it worse, it's really difficult to use. And if you're in a situation where if you're getting overrun by a lot of enemies, this weapon is not going to save you. Even though it's meant to be a stealth weapon, if it cannot one-shot an enemy, sometimes an enemy can spot you if you're very stealthy. And you may ask, what about the mine thrower, the blast arrows? Whereas it's somewhat decent, like it could be really good for like a speedrun strategy, it's still really bad, because if you don't use it at the right time, it will explode on its own, making it more of like a time bomb weapon. So if you want to use it properly, you need to set the mine thrower on the right spot before, and you guys trigger an action before it explodes on its own. If it wasn't like a time bomb, more of a time bomb, at least it would be somewhat useful. However, there are so many times where I will try to set up a trap, and next thing you know, they will blow up on its own, and it can be very frustrating to use the bow thrower, especially when it comes to like speed runs or even just the normal runs. It's still one of the worst weapons in the games, and there's not even one scenario where I was very successful with the bow thrower. Heck, even when I was recording and gameplay, I just give up with using that weapon. It was just really bad. So overall, I'll put the bow thrower in number 1 here. So that's all the weapons on the list. Hope you enjoyed this video, and most importantly, have a great day.